There are many aspects to improving as a programmer, as a developer. One of the most powerful is learning from others' good code. And what's really terrific about working inside of the JavaScript architecture and the JavaScript community is that there's a fantastic treasure trove of good code out there for you to learn from. I like to call it an open source education. There are so many frameworks and libraries that many thousands of people use every day, even millions. And it's open source software, meaning you can just open the source code, the code of those frameworks and libraries, and read them. One of the goals of this course, thus, was to give you an understanding of the more advanced concepts in JavaScript so that you can go off and read interesting source code and learn from it and not be confused by what you're seeing inside of it. But this is one of those things that you should do. Don't be afraid to open what at first could feel like intimidating source code. You can learn from these famous frameworks and libraries like AngularJS, jQuery, and others. So, where can you find all this goodness? Well, on the internet, of course. GitHub, github.com, is not only a great place to store your code, but it's also a great place to learn, to read source code. For example, I can go to Explore, and then See All, and I can go to Front-End JavaScript Frameworks and explore things like Angular, Backbone, Ember, Knockout, React, famous libraries that people are using, and I can go right into them and read their code, usually in an SRC folder for source. Or I can go to the website for that library or framework, like jQuery.com, and when I go to download jQuery, it will usually give me an option for either the compressed production version or the uncompressed development version. The uncompressed development version is the one that has all the comments and that you can read the code cleanly and easily. So you can download that one and look at it. Or, oftentimes there's a link to the source code on GitHub. jQuery has one. And again, there's an SRC folder, and I can go in and read some of their code. Now I know what you might be thinking. That sounds about as fun as reading the encyclopedia. But it is a good education. You don't have to do it for hours and hours, but find an element of the library or framework that you find interesting. Find something down in its core that's useful. Look at its structure and see what you can learn and imitate. This is a really good way to learn advanced patterns and concepts in JavaScript. And so I encourage you to make a practice of occasionally taking a quick look at the source code of a framework or library that you're using. We're going to practice this right now by taking a deep dive into the source code of jQuery.